Hey, baby, let me stay. I don't care what your friends all have to say.
Hi, and welcome to Pillow Talk with Angela. I'm your host, Angela Stribling, and we are going to get into it tonight. Everybody I told about this topic, they're like, oh my gosh, I will be tuning in on Sunday everywhere that you're broadcasting. So we're going to air this actual conversation that we're getting ready to have with one of my dear friends. Man, I'm so crazy about this man. He's so talented and he's so amazing, and he's happily married. So you know he knows what he's talking about as a licensed clinical marriage and family therapist. He is living it, living the dream, and he's always here for Pillow Talk with Angela when we have a topic that really needs the professional touch. So ladies and gentlemen, please welcome friend to the show, Tariiq Omari Walton.
Angela, hey, how are you?
I'm doing well. You know, I got to get some real people in here to clap because you deserve a real applause.
Man, that's like the greatest introduction ever. Thank you. How have you been?
I've been well, my friend. I've been doing really well.
Yeah.
And I'm so happy to see your face. I see that you changed up a little bit on us. I like it.
Just grew it out. You know, there's better products. You know, make sure you use the right products on your face, on your beard, on your hair. You got to do it right. I haven't had hair in so long that I didn't know about the product thing, but now I'm learning. Now I'm learning.
I can imagine because you don't really think about it. You're like, look, it doesn't even matter. I've got a scalp, and as long as my scalp is not irritated, it's all good.
Right.
But with your face, that's a whole different thing, right?
I've been learning, but it's coming along. So thank you for recognizing. You saw the grades too, right? You know, this is after getting married and having kids and grandkids. You know, this is all just coming in.
Listen. I am now a mom with grandchildren too,
right.
And we were just
talking. Hasn't changed you at all,
huh?
I said it hasn't changed you at all, though.
Well, I'm new. I'm a new mom and a new grandmother. I guess you could call me. I've got bonus kids and bonus grandchildren, but I don't even like to say that stuff. I don't like to say step. They're my children, as far as
right. Exactly.
I love them all,
and
so you and I are both kind of in the same boat when it comes to that. Recently married and recently became moms and dads and
grandparents and
it's a beautiful thing, right?
Very much so. I mean, just a different way of life, you know, for both of us, having been in the industry and just working and focusing so much on careers, and now to have this part of your life at this point in our life, it's just such a major transition, but such a welcome transition too.
You said it perfectly, and it just balances everything else out.
Very much so. In ways I would have never imagined before.
Never. Like you can't imagine it. You don't know it until you're in it. That's the kind of thing you don't know it until you really know it. And
of course, you just slow down and focus on the family. You know, you may have focused on, siblings and parents and grandparents before, but when it's your children, when it's your grandchildren, it's a different energy. It takes a different kind of focus and attention. So it really forces you to slow down.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Family is everything. I say that all the time. I mean, the rest of the stuff, like, career is important, and we spent, a great amount of our lives focusing on that. But at the end of the day, family is the most important thing.
When you get to come home to this,
Thank you. That's what I'm saying. So, relationships, as you and I, in our chosen professions, we try to help people communicate better and have better relationships, and, even getting prepared, if they're single and trying to get ready for the love that they're going to find.
Right.
One thing we both know is sometimes things happen in relationships that are not positive.
Yeah.
And it's a good idea to kind of know what's happening, to know how to really protect yourself more than anything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
I wanted to bring you here to talk about gaslighting. So if you will, just kind of, we all have an idea of what we think it is. If you can break down what it is, and maybe, some of the signs that you might be in a relationship where you're being gaslighted.
Gaslit. Yeah.
You're putting a torch to somebody, but you could be the one doing the gaslighting.
You might. And
So
hopefully this might open your eyes to what you're doing and how it may be injuring your mate as well. But when you think about gaslighting, the first thing you need to recognize is that it's a form of emotional abuse. It's when you are getting somebody to try to only see things your way, see things from your reality, deny their reality. It's a form of manipulation, right? And so the way that you are, as the person who is doing the gaslighting, the way that you are getting your mates away from, their own way of thinking to adopt yours in order to really control them. And so when you think about gaslighting, that's the ultimate goal. I want to control your reality through this manipulative means,
yeah.
right? And so whatever I can do to get you to deny your own reality, you're moving more towards mine, and that's where I want you to be. It's like a trap, right?
Isn't that interesting? I don't remember what movie this was. It was back in the day, and the man gets caught cheating.
Mm-hmm.
And he says to her, are you going to believe me or your lying
eyes? Yeah.
I mean, wouldn't that be like the ultimate gaslighting?
Yeah. That's it's so funny that you mentioned that, because that's a very old joke that goes all the way back to the Marx Brothers.
Is that
Groucho Marx is the first person I ever saw a document saying that. Who are you going to believe, me or your lying eyes? But that's exactly what gaslighting is. They want you, even if you have proof, they're going to deny it. You may have video. No, that's not what you think it is. So that's what gaslighting at its root is getting you to deny your own reality, getting you to question your own reality.
And make you think you're the one who's slipping. I mean, because people can be really crafty and good at this.
All the time.
And it makes you feel like, you know what? Oh, well, you know what? Maybe I've overreacted to the situation and, or, things like that when you start not trusting your own instincts.
Yeah. And what people will do is the first thing that you see when people are going to gaslight you is deny. They're going to deny it. Again, no matter how much proof you have, no matter, what they may have said before, they're going to deny it. And again, the reason why they're denying it is because they don't want to take accountability. And so I want you, again, as a person doing the gaslighting, I want you to believe what I'm saying, not what you know. Right. And so I don't want to take accountability. I don't want to feel guilty for what I've done. I don't want to feel shamed or embarrassed for it. So the best thing to do is to deflect and make you think that you're crazy, right? Yeah. Or that you're the one who did something wrong.
Right.
So one of my favorite gaslight moments is when you are talking to your mate about something that they did that bothered you. And they say, well, you know what? Well, you did the same thing. You do the same thing all the time. So, why are you you're being a hypocrite. Take accountability. Even if your mate does it too, in this moment, you're the person who has to be held accountable for it. So deal with that. But no, as someone who gaslights, I'm going to deny my role, or at least shift the blame. So it's more so on you. And I don't have to take accountability.
Instead of owning it and just apologizing and trying to do better. Yeah. So how do you suggest, like if someone is maybe the recipient of this gaslighting and a scenario like you just brought up, what is a good way to start changing that up? Because I feel like it's probably something that is fixable in a relationship. Maybe the person is gaslighting and that's the way they've always handled things. And they might not even realize that there's a problem.
Right. Well, there's two things first. One is that gaslighting has become very overused. It's a way that people will often deny taking their own accountability, right? And so you have to make sure first that what you're talking about is real, right? So you have people who, in terms of the way that they see the world, will look at the world through certain lenses, and our perspective may be off. And so the way that we are even looking at a situation is through this, what we call cognitive distortions. It's through this lens that distorts the way that you're actually absorbing what's going on. And so now, instead of when somebody tries to hold you accountable for it, you're saying that, no, you're trying to gaslight me, because this is the way I see it. This is the way, it happened to me. And it may not have happened that way, or at least everyone doesn't see it the same way. So you need to make sure that whatever it is that you're trying to hold someone else accountable for did actually happen, so that you have the right view on it. So that has to be the first thing. The second thing is to be able to make sure that you are actually naming what happened. being able to say to somebody, hey, this is exactly what happened. Not just how I feel about it or my assumption or what I heard or what I'm speculating about. No, name the actual situation. So talk about what actually happened and walk through it.
Stay on point.
Stay on point. Stand your ground on it. That's the first thing. The second thing to do is make sure that you are creating boundaries around the conversation, right? So that the person, if they want to shift the blame and say, okay, well, you do the same thing, or no, you did this. No, create a boundary around it. We're not talking about what I did right now. Okay, we can have that conversation, but now the focus is on you. Once we resolve this issue around what you did, then we can talk about me. But until then, this is the only thing that we're doing. So create that boundary around the conversation.
Yeah, because it would be so easy to just kind of take the blame off of themselves. And now you're the problem.
Right. And so you want to make sure that the focus of the conversation stays where it's meant to stay. Right. Then also make sure if it's possible, have witnesses. Right. Have witnesses, because some of these situations that people are in denial about or try to gaslight you about, it may be in public, it may be around family or friends, and you don't want to really pull people into your relationship. I really preach against that. But if you know someone has a history of gaslighting you, you may have to cross that boundary outside of your relationship to bring in witnesses.
I could see how that could oftentimes be your only recourse, because they're constantly just, no, I'm never the problem. It's you. You're crazy. You've got issues. You keep bringing this stuff up. I'm not. It's you. But then if you've got other people around you and they witnessed it too, it could actually help the person doing the gaslighting to see where they're going wrong.
Right.
And hold themselves accountable.
But more than likely, that person's going to continue to gaslight even the people who they bring in. That happens as well. Because you're trying to duck accountability. So it doesn't matter who you bring in, they're going to try and duck. But at least for your own sake and for your own self-knowledge and your own self-esteem, your own sanity, it's good to have other people there who can verify and validate what you're saying. So that's important too. But I think the other thing to consider is knowing that you're gaslit, because sometimes you may not even recognize it.
Right. Yeah.
Because what we'll do is, especially if you love somebody, what you'll sometimes do is let them off the hook. Right.
Yeah. You don't want to rock the boat. You don't want to make them feel bad. You're like, oh, well, you know what? Maybe if you're non-confrontational, you just want to let it go. But then doesn't it feel or make them feel like they've got license to just keep it going then?
Right.
No one's holding them accountable.
But that's why you have to recognize that that's happening with you. And one of the first things that you begin to realize that, why am I the only person always apologizing? Right? The other person never apologizes. Why am I always in the wrong? And so something in there has to tell you that, okay, they're constantly shifting blame. Nobody's perfect. And if your mate is never taking accountability, and you're the one finding that you're the one apologizing and taking accountability all the time, more than likely you are being gaslit somewhere along the way. So recognize that that's happening to you. Also, it's crazy that people will find ways to minimize their own experiences because their mate is minimizing it. That's one of the gaslighting techniques. So minimizing means them saying, well, it really wasn't that bad.
Right.
You hit me. Well, I didn't hit you. I just pushed you. It wasn't really that bad. So they're going to minimize.
You're so sensitive.
Right. Oh, that's another one. No, why are you being so sensitive? Why are you being so emotional? It wasn't that bad. So they're always minimizing whatever you have to say. Again, you want to be clear that you're not, exaggerating what happened. So it's a matter of, again, having that evidence and belief in yourself. But then when they're minimizing, if you turn around and you start minimizing too, well, they're probably right. It's not that bad. And you find yourself doing that all the time, more likely being gaslit.
Yeah. That's really good stuff. I love that you're breaking it down because, and I'm sure you hear a whole lot of scenarios. I do too. Constantly. And people need to know, just what to recognize, what kinds of things to look out for, and what they can do, because it's not the end of the world. No. At the end of the day, you're really the only one who's responsible for yourself.
Yep.
And you might not ever be able to change the person who acts like this, but you can change you.
Yeah.
You can change how you react and speak up for yourself.
And lead. leave. If you know that this isn't going anywhere,
Right.
if you're with someone who refuses to take accountability, if you're with someone who always wants to make you the blame, this is not somebody that you want to be with. The relationship is getting toxic at that point. It's unhealthy for you to be there.
Yeah.
So if you find yourself constantly being gaslit and you recognize that you are truly being gaslit, you got to go.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to leave.
What are some of the dangers in not leaving?
Oh my gosh. Well, again, it's emotional abuse, right? And so emotional abuse will eventually turn to physical abuse. And that's what you always want to keep in mind. There are a lot of different forms of abuse: financial, emotional, physical. But that emotional piece, if they feel like they have you, again, trapped in their world, and you're feeling stuck, and they're constantly abusing you emotionally, it will turn physical at some point. Because you know what? They're going to minimize everything that happens.
Yeah.
No, I didn't punch you. It was just, just a slap. It's a love tap.
That bruise is going to heal.
Right. You should have ducked. Why didn't you duck? I taught you how to duck. Why didn't you duck?
Exactly. I mean, it sounds, if you're not living it, it sounds ridiculous that people would ever stick around for stuff like this, but
they do.
People would be surprised. I mean, it's, you feel once you are stripped of your self-respect and you start questioning, am I exaggerating? And you start looking at all the good things that might be happening in your relationship. You could be financially in a situation where you don't think you have any recourse, so you feel like you got to stay, or whatever the situation might be. You're never stuck.
Right.
If
Well, that's
in God, pray that you are shown the way out, but there is always a way out.
And that's one of the scary things about being gaslit constantly, is that they make you question your reality. So even if you do have other recourse, if you have other ways to get out and do other things and be in a healthy relationship, they're going to make you question that. Another thing that people do when they're gaslighting, they make you believe that no one else is going to love you. Right? And so again, this is a very manipulative tactic. No one else is going to love you. So if you leave me, you're going to go out there and you're going to be alone for the rest of your life.
Because I'm the one who loves you.
Right.
That's like typical of an abuser.
It's emotional. It's all emotional abuse. It's all emotional abuse.
Cut off the people that you, like when you got together, you might have had this support system, family, friends, whatever the case might be. They come along and charming and everything and take care of you and make you feel like, I really just want to be around you. That's what they want.
Right.
But then once you're totally dependent, it's the control.
Yeah, it's all about control. Someone who is manipulative in this way, it's all about trying to gain control over you.
Yeah.
Right. And so as long as they have you under their thumb, they can dictate whatever you do. And so even when it comes to the physical abuse, they're going to make you question your reality around that. That, oh yeah, it's not that bad. Oh yeah, I can handle it. Oh, this is just normal. This is how he shows me or she shows me love. That's part of having been gaslit into believing that what's the worst thing for you is the only thing that you actually deserve.
Exactly. That is the complete opposite of love. That's not love.
Exactly.
That is not love. I mean, and as someone who has a family member who was a victim of domestic violence, I know what it looks like. And it made me so sensitive at an early age, to any of that stuff. And I thank God that I've not been in an abusive situation, although I did date one guy who I think was trying to go down that road.
You figured it out, right? You saw that. You saw the signs. You just...
Yeah, I mean, but, the reason I wanted to ask you, to ask a professional, what are some of the signs? Because a lot of people end up in these situations where you don't just end up there. It's a slow, gradual thing. And you're here, you're in this relationship where you're being abused in any of those ways that Tariiq just mentioned, be it physical, emotional, financial, abuse, all kinds of abuse. It's a gradual thing. So you need to pay attention to the signs. And if it's a relationship that is able to change, that can be worked out, you got to stand up. You got to find the strength within and speak up. And if it's not changing, just like you said, then you got to go. You got to save
Absolutely.
yourself.
Yep. Yep. Save yourself, and don't allow this person to gain that kind of control over you.
Yeah.
When you fall in love with somebody, when you believe you're in love with somebody, you want to do as much as you can for them. Right? You're just completely open, and you're
Yeah.
giving, and you want to give as much as you can, but you
100%.
can't give your entire self. You still have to maintain a part of yourself, because there are people out there, and these are people we're talking about. There are people out there who will take everything that you give you nothing, but make you believe that they are.
Yeah. Yeah. That's like, I mean, it's funny. Like all these other things come to mind. I mean, it's all abuse.
Mhm.
And like the narcissistic disorder, that's
Mhm.
their whole MO as well.
Yep. Yep.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah. Narcissists are known for their gaslighting. That's one of the ways that you can tell that you are with a narcissist, because of the way that they gaslight you about things.
Yeah. Tariiq, I love every time you come on here. You give us such good information. I mean, I'm no licensed clinical and family
Well,
therapist.
you've been doing this for so long. I don't know why you just haven't gone and got your license.
I am in the process of getting it, honestly. Thank you. I mean, it makes sense. It makes sense. And
Yes.
but in the meantime, and even once I get it, I still, I'm a student, so I will always just look to you for your wisdom, and I so appreciate you. So, in closing, I
Yes.
want you to tell folks, if they're going through anything remotely close to what we've talked about, or anything they want to talk to you about, and maybe get your consultation at the very least.
Mhm.
Tell us the best way. And, I could put it in the comment section after we speak as well, but tell us the best way to get in touch with you.
Right. If you want to get in touch with me, you can go to my website, Insight MFT. That's my practice website, or you can find me on all the different social media platforms as Tariiq Omari. You see my name right there. So it's easy to find me. But more than anything, even if you can't connect with me and you believe that you're going through something like this, seek help. Get a therapist, get a couples therapist, get some outside counsel around this, because sometimes the person that you're with will not take, again, they're gaslighting you, so they'll have no reason to believe what you're saying, because they don't even want you to believe what you're saying.
Yeah.
So you may have to get that third party in there to break things down in a way that helps them better understand not only what they're doing overall, but what they're doing to you.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tariiq, thank you so much. You're amazing.
You're amazing. Thank you again for having me.
Oh, you're so welcome. Love the beard. Keep it going.
Thank you.
The beard game is on point.
Thank you. Thank you. I'll keep going just for you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Put my little vote in.
You and my wife both love it. She does not want me to ever go back to not having a beard. So I think I'm stuck with this for life.
Listen to wifey. She knows what she's talking about. Love you so much. God bless you. And I'll see you again soon.
Thank you. All right. Take care now.
Thank you. Wow. Great conversation. Tariiq Omari Walton, he is the best in the business. Make sure you take him up on what he said. Sometimes it's good to at least just have a conversation with a licensed therapist. Even if you just want to run it past him, what you're going through, it might not be gaslighting at all, but then again, it might. And it can only be helpful. Thank you so much for being a part of the Pillow Talk with Angela village, I'll say. I love that you're here on our podcast. Make sure you check out the radio show as well. You're going to hear this conversation with Tariiq on Sunday night on 96.3 WHUR. You'll also hear it on Monday night on Sirius XM, channel 141. Now that we're syndicated, you'll hear us everywhere on AAPRC. And it's basically all the Black public broadcasting radio stations in your city. So excited about that. We're also on B-Spire TV and, oh, wait a minute, Jam 98, music for your soul. Let me not leave anybody out. And we are growing, as you can tell. Do you know that this is our 10th year anniversary? Yeah. So keep your eyes open. We've got lots of ways to celebrate, and it's going to involve presents for you. So all we need you to do is just stay close. Thanks again for watching. Have a good night.